This isn't a joke, and I don't care if people believe me or not. I just need to put this somewhere. Maybe writing it down will help me think clearer, or maybe it'll warn someone else. Either way, here it is. I live at the edge of a forest. Not a famous one, just a thick, quiet stretch of woods that goes on for miles. People in town hike there sometimes, but most stick to the marked trails. Once you leave those, it gets deep, fast. And when you're in far enough, it gets quiet in a strange way. Not peaceful, just wrong. My brother Mark and I grew up in this area. We were always outdoors as kids, climbing trees, following the stream, finding weird mushrooms, pretending we were lost explorers. As we got older, Mark never really stopped. He'd go off on his own sometimes, walking deeper into the woods, sometimes for hours. He said it helped him think. He never seemed scared of anything out there. Last Sunday morning, Mark came by the house early, said he wanted to check out a part of the woods past the old ridge, some off-trail spot he'd read about online. I offered to go with him, but he said he wanted to go alone. Just for a bit, he told me. He had his backpack, water, some snacks, and his phone. It wasn't unusual. He didn't come back that night. I waited, I texted, called, nothing. It went straight to voicemail by evening. I tried not to panic. Sometimes his phone died on hikes. Maybe he camped overnight without telling me. Still, I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I called the local rangers. They know us, and they took it seriously. A search team came out that afternoon. They found some tracks. His boot prints heading toward the ridge. Then the trail just stopped. No signs of a fall, no blood, no broken branches, just like he had vanished into thin air. They brought in dogs. Nothing. A drone. Nothing. I stayed with the team every day, calling out his name, walking miles, but there was nothing. No sounds, not even birds. It was like the forest had swallowed him. After 3 days, they called off the full search. Said they'd keep the case open, but they didn't have much hope. People don't just disappear, they said, but sometimes nature doesn't give answers. I couldn't accept that. That night, I sat in the living room, staring out the front window toward the tree line. I didn't move for hours. Then, just after midnight, I heard a knock at the door. 3 soft knocks. I froze. I waited. It came again. 3 gentle, spaced out taps. Not loud, not rushed, like someone didn't want to scare me. I walked slowly to the door and looked through the peephole. No one was there. I opened the door a crack. Cold air drifted in. The yard was still. No wind, no sound. But something caught my eye. Footprints in the dirt leading from the forest, across the grass, and up to the front steps. Bare feet. Not boots, not shoes, bare human feet. The prints were deep, like someone had walked slowly and heavily. There were no prints going back. I shut and locked the door, turned on every light, didn't sleep. Next morning, the prints were still there, clear as ever. I stood at the top step for a long time, just staring at them. That night, it happened again. Exactly 12:17 a.m., 3 knocks. This time, I didn't go to the door. I stayed in bed, lights on, heart pounding. Then I heard it, a voice, low, soft, almost like a whisper through the walls. It said my name, not shouted, just spoken. It sounded like Mark, but something about the way he said it didn't feel right. The tone was flat, like it wasn't coming from someone alive, like it was trying to remember how to say my name. I stayed still. The voice called once more, then silence. When the sun rose, I went outside again. The prints were deeper this time, like someone had stood there longer, waiting. That same day, I found something strange. A pine cone, perfectly round and fresh, sitting on the windowsill. There are no pine trees near the house. None. I threw it into the woods. That night, more knocking. Same voice, same time. But now, it added something. After saying my name, it said, "I found the way." I didn't reply. I don't know what he found in those woods. I don't know if it's really Mark or if something is using him, but it's coming closer each night. Last night was worse. I tried staying in the living room this time, thinking maybe the voice wouldn't follow me if I didn't sleep in my room. I left all the lights on. I turned the television to some random channel for noise. I sat there wrapped in a blanket trying to think of anything else. But at 12:17 a.m., like always, the sound came. 3 soft knocks. Not on the front door, not on the window. This time, it came from the back door, the one that leads to the trees. I didn't move. The knocking came again, louder. Then I heard my name. Still that strange voice, using Mark's tone, but too flat, too slow, like it had learned the shape of the word but not the meaning. It said, "I'm cold." Then, "Let me come in." I stayed frozen for what felt like hours. The knocking stopped, but I still couldn't breathe right. When morning finally came, I checked the back door. There were handprints this time. Pale, thin, 5 fingers, but the shape was wrong, too long. The fingertips reached the middle of the glass, like someone tall had leaned down to press their hands there. And there were footprints again, the same bare feet, but now they weren't alone. Smaller ones beside them, like a second set, side by side. That was the first time I really felt it. Whatever has my brother, it's not just copying him, it's growing, bringing others. I left the house for the whole day. Went into town, I sat at a diner and stared at nothing for hours. I didn't eat, I didn't speak, I couldn't tell anyone what was going on. What would I say? When I got home, the house was just how I left it, except for one thing. The front door was unlocked. I always lock it, always. It clicks loud when it locks, and I remember hearing it when I left. Inside, nothing was missing, nothing broken. But on the kitchen table, there was a photo. It was from my childhood, me and Mark sitting under the tree near the edge of the forest. We were maybe 8 or 9. I didn't even know we still had that photo. It wasn't there before. And on the back, written in pencil, were 3 words: "Come join him." That night, I didn't stay home. I drove to a hotel 2 towns over and left the lights on in the room all night. I didn't sleep, but I felt safer being somewhere else. I didn't hear knocking. I didn't hear his voice. But when I came home this morning, the front porch had something new. Another photo. This one showed just me, sitting in the same place under that tree. Except I don't remember taking that picture. I don't remember sitting alone. And the sky behind me in the photo looked wrong, too gray, too empty. The trees in the back looked like they were bending forward, like they were leaning in. There was no writing on the back this time. I don't think it needs to write anymore. It knows I'm scared. It knows I'm close to giving up. I think whatever is wearing my brother's voice is patient. I think it waits. It learns. It watches. And I think it's trying to pull me in next. I've noticed something else too. The nights feel longer. Not in time, but in feeling. Like the dark outside the house is thicker than before. The lights in the hallway flicker around the same time each night. My phone battery drains fast, even when I'm not using it. I keep feeling like I see something in the corner of my eye, but when I look, there's nothing there. But the worst part was today. I got a message on my phone. It came from Mark's number. It just said, "I'm almost home." I stared at it for so long I thought I was going to lose my mind. The message was sent at 12:17 a.m., the same time the knocking always starts. There's no signal out in the woods. If he really was alive and using that phone, it shouldn't even work. But the message came through. I didn't reply. I didn't block it. I just sat there, shaking. It's past midnight now. I'm writing this while I still have the strength. He's at the door again. I heard the knock, 3 soft taps. But this time, I didn't freeze. I stood up and walked to the door. I looked through the peephole, and I saw him. Or it. He looks like Mark. The same clothes, the same face, but the smile is wrong. It's too wide. His eyes are still not blinking. He didn't speak this time. He just raised one hand and knocked again. Behind him, standing between the trees, were more shapes. Some tall, some small, all standing still, waiting. I backed away from the door. I locked it again. I shut off all the lights. They haven't moved. They're just there. I don't think this is going to stop. If you live near the woods, if you hear someone you love knocking in the night, don't open the door.